Out here walking the dog once again. And thanks to my mother, I have figured something out. Somebody saw something. I had figured something out. Something that's been bothering me for a long, long time. And, most people will be able to, most men, this is a conversation for men. If you haven't got the title of the video, haven't thought of what I'm going to name it yet, but it'll be very apparent that it's for men. Women can watch it too, because it's best to learn. It's best to learn about, the other half of this planet's population. But yeah, this is for men. It's what was I getting at? Oh, it's bothering me. This question has been bothering me for a long time because the question that's bothered me for a long time is men's purpose, and a lot of men can understand this is because the men that came before us didn't really do a good job of stewarding the gender, of stewarding, what a man is supposed to do in the world, because a lot of those men were really greedy, and they were like the more workers and just people to further our selfish goals, the better. And they didn't really teach their sons how to manage anything, or they were deadbeats, or they didn't know it any better, or just a whole bunch of stuff. Anyway, so the purpose of man, and I equate that to the spiritual purpose of man as well, because you can go out and be like, oh, purpose of man is to defend and protect and provide. Those are all physical things. Those are all physical things that can be done and outsourced by something else. And I feel like a lot of men are feeling that, especially now in a time where there's this big argument in social media about women having jobs that pay more than men. How you doing? Women having women having jobs that pay more than men right now. And it's like, oh, do you feel like you're such a man if your wife is making more than you? And it's like, I'm like, why is that even a discussion? Because first of all, the more money, the better. Because if you looked at this economy, if you're asking them questions, then you got disposable income that I need. But it's turned into like a competition as like, oh, you can outsource men. You don't need men anymore. There's this whole like big argument for some reason about the necessity of men, and is the dangers of men more advantageous? Well, is it worth having men around with the dangers they provide? And it gets on my nerves. It gets on my nerves real bad that is even a discussion. But I digress. So talking about the purpose of men, because I can go on for days about the purpose of women. And it's like, oh, it's to birth new life into the world. Women are very holistically minded. They see the whole picture all at once. They're able to manage and juggle multiple things and bring them together. And it's just a beautiful thing. And the nature of women and spirituality is to attract things, or to bring things forward, and to make things orbit around, because they have that pull, that yin energy of being able to intuit things and pull things towards them, and manifest things more easily and stuff like that. I can go on like that forever. But there's really not that conversation with men, and I didn't really get it until now. So when you say men's purpose, protect, provide, and protect, and I'm forgetting one, but anyway. But the spiritual purpose of men is to uphold law, is to uphold spiritual universal law, and to also pierce the darkness. And what I mean by that is that it is to look into the infinite darkness where all potential is, and to somehow pick out something to work at. How potentiality becomes reality is through separation. You have to separate it into pieces, into angles, and break it down in order to get something out of potentiality. So In the beginning, there was nothingness, this vast potentiality, and then there was the first separation, yin and yang. The second separation, which broke the yin and yang both into two separate pieces, which created the four elements. Then you break that down, and it goes on and on and on and on until you get the vast reality that we have here in all its variations. So that is man. That is the masculine force, is to break apart, to separate, but not in a destructive way. It is destructive and can be destructive, and the destructive nature of man is necessary. Whether you believe it or not, it is necessary, no matter what you think. And I'll get on that a little later. But it's to separate things, to create. It's to go into the darkness and bring something into creation that didn't exist before. So man's purpose is to, like, a man will go into, there's been times when I have been just stuck on something where I'm like, no, there's something here. I feel it. My vibration, my energy is pushing me towards this direction, and it doesn't matter what's in my way. It doesn't matter how hopeless it is. It doesn't matter if people think, oh, you're wasting your time, you're doing this, you're doing that. I'm still hammering away. I'm still bing, bing, there's something here. Bing, I see it. Bang, what is it? I might get hopeless. I might be like, I'm wasting my time. I'm still hitting it until I get to the end and I'm like, this is what it was. And we don't know what it is that we're hammering at. We don't know what we're crafting yet. We just know it's something. The intuition of men is like, no, there's something here and I'm gonna find it. And one thing that women don't understand is when men become fascinated in something, they're like, ooh, I'm gonna hammer at this until I get to something that I feel like is worthy. It's something that I feel like is a reflection of what I saw in the beginning. And it's like, yes, now it's good. And depending on how a man is in his own internal self is depending on what he creates. So if a man's a piece of crap and he's like, oh, I feel like something's here, then he's going to produce crap. But if a man's good and righteous, then when he's hammering at something, he's like, I feel something's here, and he brings it back out, it's going to be good and righteous, and it's going to be good and helpful for the whole collective. And it's going to come from the attention and the focus and the, to lack of a better word, obsession with that object that he put in. And women, I feel like, have a hard time understanding this because they look at the potentiality as a whole. They see the potentiality and they also see the things within it that are already there that need to be taken care of, need to be provided for. I'm not saying that women don't have access to the masculine force. I've never said that. But we are two different genders for a reason. We're masculine and feminine for a reason, so we can split the work. So you can concentrate on mostly the feminine. You still have masculine, but mostly the feminine. And we can concentrate on mostly the masculine, even though we still have feminine. So we intuit something within the deep, and we're like, nah, something's there, and I'm a hammer at it until I get it. And I feel like nowadays, because men, and like I said before, the masculine force is about upholding the spiritual laws and things of that nature. Spiritual laws aren't just like thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not whatever. Spiritual laws are also how the world works, how reality works. Men are supposed to have a vast understanding, means boys are supposed to be taught, brought out into the world, not sit in a classroom and taught on a blackboard or the smart boards they got now, but brought out into the world, dig their hands into the dirt. This is how this works. Look at this fire. This is how this works. This is how you create that. This is what what goes into this. This is what goes into that. And build that foundation of understanding of how the world works. So when they look into the deep, and instill that righteousness and those morals in them. So when they look into the deep and their frequency pings something in the deep, that they're like, oh, there's something there that's calling back to me. Let me hammer at it. Let me dig at it. Let me figure it out until I get there. And then I'm like, bring it up from the dirt. And this is what it was. Let me see how this works. And then they refine it and they refine it and they refine it. They hammer at it and they feel it with the heat of their passion and the heat of the derision of the world sometimes. And they keep smelting it until it is a finished product. And then they bring it out to the world and it's like, look at what I have made. It has so many things that it can do, and it can help the world. And people go, wow, that's freaking amazing. That's great. How did you make that? You just thought of that on your own? And it's like, I just intuited it. It's just something I was interested in. I just did it. That is the spirituality of man. To move into the darkness and to separate it and to move it aside, to find the thing that is calling to us from within. And there's always, and I'm gonna take a beat that's something that resonated with me deeply as a child. Is one of my favorite shows, animes from back in the day, called Wolves Reign. And there were wolves that are always searching for paradise, and it was like, main character was like, no matter how much hopeless I get, no matter like what happens in this world, I still feel that voice, hear it in my head, in my heart, calling me, saying, search, search. And that is what men feel. The calling of the deep, the calling of that potentiality, the calling of that divine feminine, bidding them to search. And that calling is just an echo, a reflection of the frequency that you hold, that is reflecting back at you saying, search for me. We're searching for us in you. And we're searching for us in the world, Mother Earth. You know, we're searching for us in the divine feminine out here. That's where we're searching for us. And we're bringing things up from the dirt that only we can bring up because we're the only people that match that frequency. That's what we're doing. And those things need our frequency to be brought up. It cannot be brought up by another frequency. It is only meant for us to bring in. That is man's purpose. Born into a divine resonance with something in the deep. Born out of the deep to be able to go into the deep and bring other things out that are connected to us. As we are birthed from the divine feminine, and all the things that needed to go into our birth, we are then able to turn around and look back into the darkness and be like, hey, all these things were connected to me. This is resonating with me. What's this? And to take the knowledge that we've learned in the outside world, the morals that have been instilled to us, the spiritual knowledge, and look back at that point of reference and connect the dots to bring out something else that is connected to us, something that resonates deeply with us. Sirius, come. Where you going? He was getting a little far. We're still working on that. To bring something, you got grass all over you. What were you rolling in? I knew I shouldn't have taken my eyes off you, but I got too enthralled with what I was saying. All right, let's go. To bring those things out of the ether, to bring those things into creation. The blacksmiths that hammer reality into form. That is us. That is men. Unapologetically, oh, I'm sorry, but this is what we do. No, this is what we do, period, end of discussion. And it's not a matter, it's not even a comparison of, oh, this is what we do and women can't do it. That's not even a question in this. I'm not even making that debate. It's just, this is what we do. I'm not saying it in spite of someone else. I'm not saying you can't do it. You probably can do it. But that's not my concern. My concern is just what we can do. That's all I'm concerned about. In this regard is what we can do. If you come to me and you want some teaching, boom, I got you. I'm gonna share what I know, because that is also men's purpose. Teachers. We are meant to be teachers as well. We are meant to teach our craft, the thing that we've been hammering at, the thing that we've been obsessing over, that's what we're meant to teach and share with others so they can have those points of reference and they can manifest or bring out of the ether something that is similar to that. So we can craft them, because men craft other men. Iron sharpens iron. So when men get together into groups, which we are naturally drawn to do, to get together with other men that we resonate with, and we talk shop, and we share views, and we argue, and we do this, it is to sharpen each other into a fine point, to make ourselves into a tool that is able to conquer any task. That is what we are doing when we do that. Now, like I said, depending on the foundation of the man is the results of what he creates. So if you get a dude who's obsessed with stupid stuff, then when he gets together with other dudes obsessed with stupid stuff, they will craft themselves into a fine tool to find more stupid stuff. But if you have a righteous man, a well-learned man, a wise man, he gets together with those like him that resonate with him, they are going to craft something great. So do not take this and be like, oh, well, these guys are doing this. Look at them. Look at what they're talking about. You wouldn't go to, I don't know, you wouldn't go to like a carpentry shop and be like, why aren't you guys making airplanes? They look at you like you're stupid. Like, we do stuff with wood here. What are you talking about? You guys need me making airplanes. You're not shit because you're not making airplanes. That's not what they're there to do. Now, if they're lying to you and saying that they're make airplanes when they really just make stuff out of wood, now you can cuss them out. But if you demanding them to be more than what they are doing right now, you're wrong. You are wrong for demanding more of someone that has no intention of doing that. If they lie to you, now you have recourse. But if you sought them out and then you got there and you were like, you're not doing what I want you to do, you are wrong. And that's upholding law. That is a man upholding law, saying that you are wrong and you deserve what is happening to you around. The frustration that you're going through, the products that you bought that you thought was going to be the products that you bought into, because we're talking about creations of the spirit and creations of the mind. The product that you bought into, that you went in there with the intent of buying something completely different, but you didn't discern to figure out, they're not doing anything with the things that involve airplanes, then that's your fault. That is 100% your fault. You are to blame. All the suffering is you. And until you realize that, ooh, I did this to myself, I put myself in this situation, you will never get out of it. Just point blank, period. You'll never get out of it. But back to men. So these are our charges. And I forgot I ain't had no bags for the dog. Good thing he ain't pooped yet, pup. These are men's charge. This is men's charge. This is men's purpose, to be able to pierce the darkness and bring something out. Bring the things out that birthed us, that created us. To learn and to develop with other people and other experiences, not just other men, but women as well. And to be able to craft ourselves and smelt ourselves into finer, detailed tools to be able to fulfill that calling that is deep within us. Because every man has a calling. Every person has a calling. But I'm talking about men. Every man has a calling that is deep within them, that is telling them, hey, search this out. You need to be doing this. What are you doing right now? You need to be working hard at this. What are you doing right now? And that's why society is trying its best to obfuscate that. Say, oh, all these men are out here trying to work and better themselves. Put them in the gym. Yeah, put them in the gym. Because then they can still work on themselves, but it's in a harmless way that doesn't rock the boat too much. Because real righteous men, upholder of law, they will go out into the world and start tearing down the system as it is right now. They would start to change things, to separate. And if anyone knows how a blade works, it separates the molecules and stuff of a object, splitting them apart with a wedge to separate them into two pieces. And through separation, separating into, if you bring it back to spirituality, you separate things in the ether. It is separating the potentiality and breaking it down until it reaches a definite conclusion instead of just being just potential. You're bringing it into more definition. So man would go out here, and this is where the destroyer aspect of men comes out, and the destroyer aspect that is a necessity for society. So I don't want to hear nothing about people having a problem with man being in its destroyer aspect. That is a necessity for men to be destroyers, because some things need to be destroyed. Period. End of discussion. They need to be broken down into their base element so that they can be made useful. Serious? Hey, come here. What are you doing? Oh, you're peeing. All right, come. They need to be broken down and destroyed. So we go out into society and we're righteous and we're knowledgeable and everything like that. We will start destroying things, separating them into their base elements so we can use them for a future purpose. That is what will happen. They don't want that. So they, focus on sex. Focus on working out. Don't you want money? Look at this car. Football. Basketball. Rappers. This, that. Shiny object for you to hammer at and hammer at and hammer at to no seeable like producing anything good from this. But the search within us doesn't have a correct foundation because we weren't taught correctly in schools and by our parents and families. So we're confused. We hear the voice telling us to do something. We look at our knowledge base and we're like, what am I supposed to do with this? And then the knowledge base we have reflects the illusions that are projected in this reality. And we're like, oh, maybe I should do that then. And then we get there and we hammer. And then we're like, this is some bull crap. Why am I even doing this? But by then we're 40. We spent the majority of our lives hammering at something that was an illusion. So we need to be taught at a young age divine science so that we know illusion from reality, so we can hammer at reality. Most of the men that you know, most of the men watching this, we have been hammering out illusion. Women, most of the men that you know have been hammering at an illusion. They think that that's what's responding to them, that's what's calling back to them from the deep, but it is false light. It is an illusion. And they don't know it. And sometimes they have to get to the end of their wits and get to the end of their hammering before they figure it out. I was doing this for nothing. And then they get depressed. And then they get sad and they're like, what was my life for? What did I just spend my life doing? And some go into denial and they like, no. They go insane and they're like, no, this has to work. This has to work. And they just keep hammering at it forever. And they hurt people that are around them, try to get them to face the light and stuff like that. There's a lot of things that happen, mosquitoes. There's a lot of things that happen to men in this world that leads them to terrible things, leads them to depression, to abuse, to all these things. They get desperate. It's like having a cheetah who can't run. It's like having a bird that's not allowed to fly. It's not having like a tiger who's not allowed to hunt. You have an itch you can't scratch. You have a desire that you can't express, but then you can't express in words to someone else so they know what you're talking about because it's so deeply buried within you and you have no knowledge base on the things that you were taught in your life to bring it out, to actually express it to someone. This is what I desire. But you can't do it to show them either, because you don't have a foundation to actually explain it, articulate it, and search it out in reality. So you just have this itch that you can't scratch. You just have this feeling you can't express. And it is maddening. It is just driving men insane. That desire of masculinity that the divine masculine is in us is calling for is driving men insane because they have no avenues to express it. The avenues that we do have aren't good enough. So it's driving men insane. Now, there are some men who are just evil. In my personal opinion, there's some demons out here. There are demons out here that do despicable stuff. But there's a lot of men out here that have just gone insane. They've lost hope. They've despaired. And so they lash out at everyone around them. Still their fault. But that's the reason for it. Yeah, I'm not giving an excuse. I'm giving a reason. If my car breaks down and it's because I haven't put oil in it, I'm not saying, oh man, I didn't put oil in it as an excuse. That's the reason my car broke down. Now, from that, now that it's been articulated, I have to decide, okay, what needs to be fixed because I did that? You just listen to the cars, I guess. Whatever. But that's just an insight into the world of men. That's an insight to the world of men. What drives us, what makes us crazy, is not being able to express and not knowing even how to articulate that expression. So if you've ever asked a man and you're like, why can't you just tell me? We literally cannot. We are not equipped with the knowledge to express our deep-rooted spiritual needs to you. We just not. So, give us some grace. And we are trying. Like you see, there's a spiritual movement going on in the world where men are speaking up. Real spiritual men. I'm not talking about pastors. Yes, there are spiritually good pastors, so don't bite my head off with this. But there's a lot of them that I've experienced in my life that aren't. A lot of them that have been driven insane, and they're just beating at a dead horse, and manipulating people and whatnot to justify their existence. But there's a lot of spiritual men out here that are like, nah, I'm gonna start doing stuff differently. And that's one thing that we need to do as men, guys. We need to realize that the foundation that we are standing on is an illusion and is wrong. And we need to, and it's hard to go back to ground zero and go, okay, I need to fix my foundation, which means everything on top of it has to go. I just want you to know how hard that is. It's like living in a house all your life and trying to make it good, and you're like, why isn't anything working? And then you realize the foundation's bad. I gotta tear down the whole house, build the foundation from scratch. I gotta find the materials to build this foundation good. I gotta search those out before I even get started on the foundation. So you gotta destroy everything and then rebuild your house. And then you can start doing what you're doing. But by that time, you've attained that wisdom. By that time, you've attained that experience to even know you have a problem. You're already 35, 40. And you've done a lot of stuff in your life that has amounted to nothing. Or amounted to only pain and suffering. So it's hard. It's hard. That's part of our struggle out here. All right, if you're not pooping, let's go. Come on. That's part of our struggle out here. You spend a majority of your life hunting down something, trying to follow something, trying to oh yeah, I'm gonna go to the NFL and I'm gonna get some money, I'm gonna get about the hood, or I'm gonna join the military and I will fight for my nation and I'll be taken care of by Uncle Sam afterwards. You won't. Uncle Sam sees you as a number. You are just a number. People in the military take care of people. The system does not give a crap. But your command, your people will take care of you if they're good people, and a lot of them aren't. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, it's hard out here. It is hard, it is difficult, but we are turning around because this is a turning of an age. The old age is gone. Officially, it's gone. It's over. What got us here is gone to no more, to come back no more. The wisdom has been taken out of the elites. They are fumbling, bumbling. There's nothing to support them. Their foundation is gone. Now it's time, because their foundation is gone, and their foundation is what we are basing ours off of. There's crumbles and it reveals more and more truth to us of, oh, so this was an illusion. Now that even with some of that, even with just a little bit of that coming out into light and men being able to see the illusion, they're like, oh, okay, so that's an illusion? Let me go find truth immediately. That's happening right now. And the more it crumbles, the more people will try to find truth. Now, a lot of people will go insane. A lot of people's gonna go insane. They're gonna not know what to do with their lives. They're gonna be like, my whole life was a lie, and they're gonna freak out. I hope y'all find this video so I can talk you through it and be like, hey, calm down, take like several seats, take a couple breaths. We all going through it. Link up with your brothers and try to figure it out. We gonna get through this. We gonna get through this because we got a job to do. This new age that is coming in, this new way of life, way of being that is coming into creation is going to need people to uphold spiritual and moral and the laws of the Most High. It is going to need people to do that. It is going to need people to reach into the ether and bring forth what you were born to bring forth. What you were born to bring forth is important. What you were born to bring forth is necessary. The only thing that's required is for you to restructure your foundation so that you can look into the abyss, look into the ether and bring it out. But unto yourself, you are worthy. You are worthy of creating. You're worthy of being. You're worthy of being here just by standing here. Just because you're here, you are worthy. So never question it. Never question that. Put that as a stone, a cornerstone in your bedrock, that is your foundation, and work from there. You are worthy because you are you. Now chip away those lies, chip away the deceit that's attached to that foundation that you got there, and start to get to work, because we all got to get to work. I'm starting to get to work. I wasted 15, 16 years of my life on something that amounted to nothing. I am just now starting to get to work, what I was made to do here, and you need to too. So I issue this out to all men. It's time to get to work, and it starts with dismantling the foundations that are faulty that we have, and then dismantling the foundations that are faulty that are out here, so that we can create a bigger, brighter, and better world. That's all I got.